We're up, JBSP here. Welcome back to another video. This time, we will test this EMAX BMAX, actually BMAX uh, ready to race kit or mini four-wheel drive. This is my cowl for this car, and this is my other cowl or body for this car. But because this is a practice session, I'm going to use my battle ready cowls, the one that I'm using before. So I'm just going to use this car if I have a chance to go to the quarterfinals. It's impounding. What does it mean? Impounding means that if you won that particular race, your car will be impounded and then will be checked thoroughly. And then once everything is clear, once that car passes, it is now uh, on the quarterfinals. After the quarterfinals, semifinals is next. Once you won that semifinals round, then you're going to the finals and you'll be racing to the finals to win the championship or second place or third place. But it's still good. Reaching the podium, being a third place, second place, or the champion is actually a proud thing to have or to reach. Anyways, we will test. I will be speaking slowly because sometimes, most of the time, when I'm speaking too fast, I eat a lot of words and I mispronounce a lot of words. But I'll be speaking slowly so I can articulate correctly as well. So this is the starting lane of this racetrack layout. This actual racetrack layout was used last November, not pretty sure, 24. It's a Sunday if I'm not mistaken. So this is for the NTRC Leg 8 AMAX BMAX race. And I've tested this racetrack as well. This is for Pro Stock and Pro Stock non-FM and Backstock Tune category. Same date, same race. That's NTRC Leg 8. So I have a video. I made a video of this racetrack, and I test this racetrack using my Pro Stock non-FM setup. Now let's go back and let's talk about this racetrack layout, because I'll be testing those three mini four-wheel drive. I'll show you what brake setup I will be using, and what two types of speed that can actually help you reach the finals, or at least have a good chance to reach the finals. But before that, let's talk about the racetrack first. So this is the starting lane. So a straight, then a half curve. So two curves combined. Then a slope going to the tabletop. This is what we call tabletop. It means it is elevated, so like a table. So once your mini fold drive jumps over here on the slope, this tabletop will catch the mini fold drive, and then if it recovers, it will just run smoothly through the corners, which is the half curve again. Then another straight lane. I've wiped this racetrack panel clean of dust. Sorry, and so my brakes will really stick to the slope, and let's see if that will help finish the course by 3 laps. Now again, it's a straight panel and then a slope. This is color white slope. Then two receiver table down, which means from tabletop you're going down to this two receiver, two straight panels, and then a full curve, four curves combined, and then a recovery, or for you to gain speed, there's another straight there because you're going to climb this incline obstacle or the bank approach. This is the bank approach, two bank approach connected, and then one straight full bank. So that's a full curve, and then straight going down. Then you're gonna pass by the bank approach again one more time, and this time you'll be passing by the slope, which is the camelback. So if you've seen two slopes interconnected to each other, here in the Philippines we called it camelback. So after camelback, this is a technical part of this racetrack. The reason why I said two types of speed, you can jump over the wave, or you can just slowly use your brakes and then crawl down the slope, so you will just land here, 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 not here, because your car will flip over once you hit the wall or the wave wall. So having said that, if you pass this obstacle, you move over here, you pass here, you'll be reaching the half curve, then you'll be passing by the change lane, which is the bridge change lane, and then half curve again, two straight to gain speed. However, this is a tricky part, so it's like a trap, because after you gain speed, then there's a a slightly, maybe not slightly, critical part of this racetrack. So this is supposedly camelback, but I call this mountain slope. And then there's the higher mountain slope, which is what I call there's another type of this, which is a volcano slope. I will feature that on a different video. I'll show you what it looks like. But for the meantime, this what I call this obstacle the mountain slope. I'm not pretty sure if everyone else is calling it that way as well, but for me, just to easily identify it or to understand the racetrack layout, I call it the mountain slope. So that is one, two, three, four slopes connected to each other, and then you will be you'll be passing by, or you might be landing here on the first receiver. If you landed on the wave, your car or your mini four-wheel drive might flew off track. So sometimes the racers sometimes try to jump over these two panels and then land over there. But the problem is, if you land over there, there's a higher chance you'll be all right. I got a mental block. Anyways, again, racers will try to jump over this first panel. Oh my god, sorry. Again, racers would try to jump over this straight panel and wave panel and land over there or over there. But the problem is, you might overshoot when you've reached there. If not, you might overshoot when you've reached here on the tabletop. But before we talk about it, I just wanted to let you know that once you've overcome this obstacle, then there's another half curve, then another slope, camelback. There you go, camelback. Another wave, and then straight, half curve, then going back to the straight, or going back to the start panel again. So like what I've said, if racers tried to jump over these two obstacles and try to land here, there's a higher chance that they would overshoot on this curve, or maybe on this curve, because that is actually too fast. And if they recovered here, let's say they recovered here on this curve, and they actually recovered here as well, this is going to be the problem. Because if you're jumping too high and too far over there, you'll be accelerating here, you'll be slowing down here a bit, but on the way down, you'll be gaining speed, and then you'll be overshooting there. That's the actual thing that happened last race, or the race last November 24, if I'm not mistaken. So anyway, so this is the racetrack layout. I will try to overcome this racetrack layout, and this might be, or this will probably be, a long form video. I'll post it on my public YouTube channel, and then
I will cherry pick the high quality information on this video, clip it, and then I'll save it and then upload it on my members only video for my YouTube channel members. So all right, let me just set up my cell phone here, my camera, so we can have a good camera angle, and let's see what will happen. All right, I'll just pause this video. I'll be back later. All right, please bear with me because I don't have any cameraman yet, and I will do my best for you to be able to see what I'm doing here. Let's try to move this one first, this car first. Let's move my cow here for better viewing. There you go. And I have here brake pads, but before we talk about the brake pads, let me just move this here. Let's just try to test this car first. Alright, this is actually newly updated setup because I replaced the rollers with black roller setup, so it can match this color, so black and yellow. But we will be using my Vanquish cat to replicate Zenkish. Alright, now let me show you what I'm using, or what I'm going to use to overcome this obstacle. So I'm going to use a 5:1 gear ratio. Let me just double check if my camera is clear. Let me just show you. Let's see. There you go. So that's a royal blue counter gear. So that means that my gear ratio is 5:1 gear ratio, and I'm going to use power dash motor. All of them has the same setup in terms of gearings and motor. The reason why is because I want to have a higher torque for the car to at least overcome the inclined part of the racetrack, or the obstacles of the racetrack layout. So now let me show you the braking setup that I'm going to use here. So this is 2 mm. Alright, there you go. So maybe this distance. So this is 2 mm. Alright, but I've sanded with the angle that I really preferred. So what I'm using when I'm sanding brake pads, so I'm just using this. I always bring this sandpaper, so for manual adjustment. But initially, if this is brand new and I just stick it right, for example right now, then I will be using a grinder, a homemade grinder, CFM chassis or any other chassis. Just put a stock motor over here. You can actually use dual shaft, or you can actually do something like this, modify the chassis, because it's already broken, so you won't be able to use it on a race anymore. So you can destroy it, you can redesign it, whatever design you want it to. So anyways, so just put two double A batteries here, then start grinding it slowly, gradually, until you hit the right angle. And then for this pad to be leveled or balanced, or at least at the same angle, you can just slightly scrub it using sandpaper to align it. Now I'm using 1 mm pink brake here on the rear brake setup, and if you can see, I have the same size on my rear brake setup and on my front brake setup, because I'm using an FRP called Popsicle. Just one moment, let me just pause the video so I can show you guys. Alright guys, this is a Popsicle. Alright, so what I'm doing is, this is just an example. This is not what I'm using, but I will be using a cal pad, and then I'll put the brakes here, and then I'll put the popsicle on top of the brake, and then press it gently so it will not move, and then I will use this blade cutter and cut it right away. So I make sure, I always make sure that the blade cutter is really what do you call this, uh, one moment. I pause the video and then try to remember the word sharp. So make sure that the blade cutter is sharp, so you can just cut it smoothly. So anyways, going back, so I don't have washer yet. I have here multiple washers. I'm not sure. Oh, there you go. You can see it, but it's just not that clear. I have a large large diameter washer, and then the small one, which can be found on a double plastic roller package. So I prepared those two sets of washer just to make sure if I needed it, I can just easily grab one and then attach it to the setup. I'm always using adding or removing washer here on my brake setup, because again, I'm using 2mm brake pad here in the front. So if I want to make it uh, if I want to make it 3 mm or 3mm, I'll just add washer there. I'll make a video of that, but I just want to let you know that this is the setup that I'm using right now, because this video is for testing purposes. I just want to show you the brake setup, and I will change this brake setup once we are able to successfully finish the racetrack layout with a high-speed tuning. Now we will try another way on finishing this racetrack, another approach. We will try another approach, and that is going to be a slower pace, but will be effective usually on the semifinals or on the finals, and on at the quarterfinals as well. Okay, so let's try this. So let me just charge up, one moment. Let me just charge up my battery, because I want to use a fully charged batteries. I'm charging it earlier. I just rest it for a moment while we're talking, so, and then I'll charge it again, so we can make sure that it is a fully loaded battery. Now I'll be using this cowl on my testing, and if I'm racing, I'm going to use this cowls first, and then if I'm already successful on reading the racetrack layout, and I'm finishing the course more often than not, or the racetrack layout more often than not, and once I've reached the run where if I win, my car will be impounded, that's the time that I'll be using my Zenkish cowl or yellow Zenkish cowl. Okay, so let me just grab my lubricant oil or waxy power oil. There you go. Let me just show you this one. Let me just lubricate my motor, just to make sure that it will run smoothly as expected, or as I expected it to be. Yeah. There you go. Just 2 sprays. It's more than enough. I'll try to rotate it manually, just to make sure that I have here a tissue for the excess oil. I always prepare a tissue. Sometimes I use a towel, but for this video I'll be using a tissue. So to remove the excess oil, then rotating the motor shaft, and attaching this motor back to the motor catch, and attaching the motor cover and putting it back. Okay, now let me just grab my stopwatch. One moment. Okay, so I just grab my stopwatch. So it is 00. There you go. So we have here 1.52 volts. Let me just check that. Okay, see if you can see it. So 153, 151, and then 152, 153. There you go. So let me go back to the previous angle of the video. So we'll be testing it. Let me grab 53 and 51. So we are aiming for this car to finish 3 laps. Now later, first off, we will just test it, and I'll just show you if it's going to finish 3 laps. So let me just hold this. There you go. I'm holding it. Then let me just point this camera to the starting lane. Okay. All right. So that's the starting lane, but let me just re-angle it. There you go. So we won't be able to, at least let's just try to catch 2 obstacles. That one, sorry, where's my finger? There, that obstacle and this obstacle. So later on, once we've already managed to finish the course, but let me just remove this chair. There you go. Okay, let me just take a good angle here, just to make sure that you can see me as well. Alright, so again, that straight panel there is the starting lane. Alright. If we manage to finish 3 laps for all 3 cars, then I will try to run them one by one, and the camera will follow them running. Alright, but as of the moment, we'll be just stay stationary for for the purpose of the video, so it will not be that hard to watch. Okay, I'll be running on lane 2, so on the middle part of the racetrack here, and if I catch the mini four-wheel drive on lane 2 on the middle lane, that means it already finished 3 laps. So again, I am full brakes at this actual setup, but if it didn't finish, and if I need to gain more speed, I'll put and add a tape on the brake pad, so it will have less friction from the brakes or from the brake pad. So let's try to do this. 3, 2, 1. You can see, using this full brake setup, I've already stumbled on the wave. The mini fold drive hit the wall of the wave on the wave over there, and then it also hit the wall on the wave over here, which means I might need to add tape here, and I also will be putting tape here to lessen down the friction of the mini four-wheel drive. So let's go ahead. Let's rotate this camera again. Change the position of, there you go, the tripod, and I'll show you what I'm going to do. So consider this me on an actual race and actually adjusting my mini four-wheel drive. So actually this is a good video. So if you don't like or watch this kind of long form video, you're missing out. And I've watched my previous long form video in English, and it's kind of cringy because I talk too fast, I cannot understand the words, and then I'm stuttering a lot. But this time, I realized that I don't need to speak faster. If the video will take long, I just need to live by it. So I just need to take it as it is. So then if I can still fasten or make the video much faster, maybe not by talking fast, but by creating a flow that could help the video to become uh, well, for the video to be not a long form video. All right, so the wheels are cleaned because I've wiped the racetrack panel, but I'm addicted to cleaning my tires. All right, I always want my tires to be clean when I'm trying to race, just to make sure that I have my full acceleration using my tires, and the tires is not skidding. All right. Now, earlier I mentioned. Let me dry up the. If you can see, I wipe the actual brake pad using a water with alcohol. Then I dry it up. Yep, there you go. It's already dried up. And then the reason why I have a scissor here, because I really like my brake, my Tamiya tape to be aligned as well. So I'm so OZ in terms of, yeah, the setup. Sometimes I think it's just an addiction or a habit that I want my setup to be symmetrically aligned, but I cannot perfect it. But I'm trying, or I'm aiming. So I will put a tape here, and I will tape at least 35% of the brakes. So I'll leave 65% of the brakes open, and then I cover up at least 35% of my front brake pad. Alright? Oh, I'm sorry. Is it blurred? No, I think you've seen what I've done here. But I will show you. There we go. So at least uh, 35 to 40% has been taped up. And then 65 to 60% is showing up on my brake pad at my front setup. Now, let me just tape as well my rear brake setup. So again, I'm actually not taping it yet, just getting the angle that I want, or the size of the tape that I want for me to cover this. And this is an actual tip for you guys, for newbies. For the rear brake setup, if you're taping your brake setup, I will show you something that will be helpful for you guys. I'm pretty sure that it will be helpful for you. So I'm taping up, covering up at least 75% of the brakes here. And I'm just showing 25%. So I just leave 25% of the brakes open. And then I covered up 75% of the brakes. No, actually, at least 80% is covered up. And then just 20% is showing. There you go. So, yep, this actual setup, if you can see, I tape the brakes over this side and not over this side. The reason why is, if this brake setup hit the panel, or the slope, the bridge, the bank approach, there you go. It stumbled. I hit the tripod, sorry. Let me just re-angle this. Alrighty. So, again, I was talking about this. All right. So, if this hit the obstacle or the panels, and the tape was over here, the tape will fill up. The actual incline, or the actual contact of the brake pad to the actual panel, will just
the friction of it will feel off the actual tape if it's taped here and not here. But if it's taped here, it will just slide slide it off. All right. Okay, now we have a different setup, brake setup. Now let me just grab another battery here. Same battery, but this time it's 55 and 54. So I'll be using this 55 and 54 volts. Okay, let me just use it. Hopefully it will not overshoot after the changes that we made. All right, but if it overshoot, so now at least you are also experiencing the actual things that I'm doing when I'm actually racing. There you go. So again, let's move this out so you can see me. Let's see. Okay, that's clear again. So the mini four-wheel drive, so Vanquish, Kato Zenkish. So yeah, let's see. But anyways, because it stumbled on two obstacles, I will check it first if the brake set is actually aligned. There you go. It's not aligned in the rear side. Alright, that's aligned already. I just pressed it. It's already aligned. Front is actually aligned as well. And let me just check if all the wheels are touching the cowl pad. Yes, it is. Okay. Checking. 0, 0. Okay, 0. Alright. Autofocus. There you go. Let's try it one more time. 154 volts. Alright. First lap is good. But the problem is on the second lap, it overshoot and it hit the wave on the mount after the mountain slope. So I'm guessing to run it again using a fully charged battery once more. But this time, because I will not change the settings, I will try to depend. Oh my goodness. I'm sorry. There's a lot of bloopers on this video. There's a lot of bloopers on this video. And let me just check this. There's a lot of bloopers on the video. I do apologize. Please bear with me. Okay. I hit the tripod and it fell down. Alright, let me just move this aside. Let me just transfer the washers because I keep on bumping onto them. Now, because there's a dust already on the actual brake pad, so what I'm going to do is I'm just gonna try to clean up because there's still dust even after I wipe the panels clean. I wipe it with soap and then I let it dry, but it's there's still dust on it. But let me just grab another 153 or 152 volts, and then let's see if that is just an accidental overshoot or if it's accidentally flew off track. And let's see. Okay, I know you understand. I don't have a cameraman, so I'm just a one-man team as of the moment, but it's fine. It's all good. One day we will have a team
on this channel once I can actually pay a cameraman. Hoping for that time to come. But I will not wipe the brake pad clean. I will not wipe it clean. I'll just keep the dust into it. So let's try again. Again, lane 2. I'll be starting on lane 2. 3, 2, 1, go. It's overshoot over there. So it overshoot. So it means that the brake is not actually stopping or slowing down the actual car, but I will try to run it again because it didn't finish for one lap. Alright, so this time I'm going to use 150 volts, but now the actual car is much faster compared to when I first run it or test it. So I will try to clean the brake first because it overshoot on the actual slope camelback wave. It landed on the second receiver already. It jumps over the wave actually. So let me try it again. So it overshoot there. So it overshoot on the mounting slope and then it landed and then it jumps over the switch lane and then run in reverse. So that's the reason why I run over it. Now it is now overshooting. So I'm using 1.48 volts, keeping the same setup. So this is how I do practice session on an actual race because when you are competing on a BMAX category, GP races or leg races, usually you have a 1 to 2 hours practice time. So that practice time is actually not enough. So you need to do the adjustment faster. So if you have a brake adjustment already and you seems to be running fast, so the next good thing for you to do is to just to try it with a lower battery voltage. If it still didn't finish on a lower battery voltage like 1.45, then you may need to adjust your braking setup or motor setup or gear ratio depending on the racetrack layout. But let's try this one more time. 1.48 volts. Let's see if it will finish now. First lap, first lap. Second lap, last lap. Alright. Almost there, we're almost there. We're getting there. We're getting there. Alright, what happened? What just happened? On the last lap, after the mountain slope, because there's 4 obstacles here on this actual track layout. So this actual testing is actually good for newbies. Let me just check the battery voltage. I think on this particular brake setup, 138 is actually good already. So I'll be stopping my charging and I'll stop my charging and then I'll just go to battery meter. So for this brake setup, now I know I didn't hit the tripod. The table is actually moving. All right, so let me just clean my wheel set first because I need to regain my acceleration. I'm not pretty sure if you can see me here. Alright, so I need to regain my acceleration, so I need to clean up my wheels, tires again. So I can regain speed. So the battery voltage that I'm going to use on this practice session, hopefully finishing 3 laps, will be 1.48. So 1.48 volts is not that too low, so it's still manageable. And you can see, you will be able to identify with your car yourself if it is really slow already or it's still fast. So if it's still manageable, it's good. But if it's not, then you might need to adjust on some other parts of your setup. So I'm not pretty sure if you're learning something from here, from this video, and if I'm not sure if I'm really helping you out, but I hope I do. I'm not pretty sure if you can actually see me on in this angle. Let me just try to. There you go. There you go. I think this is actually good enough. So, uh, I, what I'm going to do? So I clean the tires, and then I'll try to rerun it. So we are back to 0-0. Let me just check if you can see it. Oh, it's actually blurred. So there you go. But let me just, so we're back to 0-0. Okay, there you go. So I think this is actually a good angle, so I don't need to switch anything else from here. So I will not change anything. I'll just double check if the roller angle is still good. Everything is intact. My new setup is sturdy front wise. Then you'll double check if your damper setup or settings or screws has been bent over forward or backwards, so it needs to be aligned. So it's still aligned. I'm just gonna grab a battery here, 1.48, 1.47. It is just on a battery meter now. I mean, my Sky RC NC25 Pro is now on a battery meter mode, so it means it's not charging anymore. I won't wipe the dust from the brakes clean, so let me just put this over here. Check if we're on a good camera position. There you go. Running at lane 2. So I think this is the 4th time or 5th time or 5th attempt. Okay, let's double check. So it actually finished 3 laps, and our 3 laps time is 18:31. But my actual best time here is 16:78. But I think I just got lucky during that race, 16:78. And besides, the reason why we are going to try two different method of braking setup here is because the actual racers, there's only 2 racers in the finals. It means one of the racer has 2 cars in the finals. So the actual racer that has 2 cars in the finals try to change his setup and he run the course or the obstacle or the racetrack layout with a slow phase setup. So that's the reason why he's the champion. He's the 2nd place as well. And the fastest car during that final race is only achieved or only landed on 3rd place. So it doesn't mean that you need to be faster in BMAX racing or in BMAX-GP or any BMAX race. It doesn't mean that you need to be the fastest car. You need to be the fastest and the stablest car. All right? Not the fastest, but the fastest among the stable cars. That's what I mean. All right. So now, 18:31, we actually made an error on 1 lap. I think that is 2nd lap. It hit the the car hit the wall and then stayed there for at least half a second or maybe less than half a second and then recovered back. So that take off a few milliseconds on our time. So if there's no error, we might got to 17 seconds, but we couldn't say, right? But at least we made to 18.31, which I believe is still much faster than the three cars that run in the finals. Okay, now we've run it we're using a 1.48 volts. Now we are going to check if we just got lucky. So we need to check using 1.48 volts one more time if we will be able to really finish the course using the same setup. So that's how I gauge if I'm actually reading the racetrack layout correctly. So if we are unable to finish it, this actual video is gonna take or will be taking too long if I tried to actually test all three cars. So for the sake of this video to be interactive or to be to attain more audience and more views, we will keep it at least under an hour or just more than an hour, but will not reach 2 hours. All right. So I'm hoping that I can manage to show you the fastest facing car for this obstacle and also the slow facing car or brake setup for this obstacle. So yeah, let me grab another 1.48 volts of battery. Kai, don't touch it, Kai.
Okay, boy.
Thank you. Don't disturb me, Kai. I'm actually making a video.
Me, Isap. What boy?
All right.
Wow.
Don't talk anymore. Don't talk anymore because my viewers can hear you. All right. So again, this is the first, actually the first attempt that we are able to finish 18.31. So this is the second attempt after that run, hoping that we will be able to finish another run. All right. I just checked the time. It's already 47 minutes. All right. Here we go. Please. All right. Stop it. Yes, stop it. Okay. What happened there is actually the brakes, I think, because it didn't pass the wave. It didn't pass the wave. So there's another idea. If that's the case, it means I've slowed down drastically. So if you can see, or if you can notice, what did I forget? I've already cleaned the actual tires. It's still clean because it just run at least half lap. Didn't finish at least one full lap, right? So I forgot to spray another oil. That was at least the 6th or 7th run, if I'm not mistaken, and I forgot to add a lubricant there. The motors kind of hit as well, so there's an effect. So that's the reason why you have multiple cars. So here's what I'm going to do. We've already managed to let this car finish 3 laps, right? We need to rest the motor of this actual car. So this is vanquished. So let me try this car. So this is another car that I updated. So black rollers, or I'm not pretty sure if you can see me. There you go. I was talking. I'm not pretty sure if you can see me. So this is another car. So you will be identify it using another car because of the cowl. So T-Shot Junior, Thundershot Junior gold plated. So I have the same settings on my brakes, no washer as well, but the problem is I don't have a rear brake setup. So what I'm going to do is I will try to not have a rear brake setup, but I'll try to add a tape here, and let's see if that will help to finish the course easily. Because if I could remember it correctly, last NTRC leg race, leg 8, I was running brakeless as well on the rear FRP setup. Let me just focus here, put or add a tape here. Anyways, regardless whether you put a tape over your FRP, rear FRP, uh, whether you put a tape on your rear FRP or not, it is still allowed. So let me just put a lubricant here, waxy oil. Alright. Okay, grab. I will try 1.49 volts here. Because I'm not sure if the motor still has a lot of torque. So yeah, I'm not pretty sure if you can see me. Yeah, there you go. So if you can see the setup, all right, 2 mm or 2 mm brake, blue brake pad in front, and then I didn't put any brake in my rear FRP, just a tape. Okay, checking if all screws are in line. Okay, all right, let's do this. Oh, but one moment, let me just remove this. So probably 1.5 hours, and then we're good to go. The video is one hour already. Kai, move out on the camera. Kai, the camera, don't go to the camera. Alright, I think I need to put some brakes. I need to put some brakes, or maybe put a lower battery voltage. Or there's a lot of options that I can use. Anyways, the car overshoot on the first obstacles that it passed by, and okay, no. All right, let me just pause the video. Okay, sorry about that. There's another option. Instead of putting brakes here, I can put and add washer over here. So at least you will be able to see how I'm adjusting. So 1.5 hours, I think that's still good enough for audience, because I'm spitting out good information here. So I'll be adding 2 washer, left and right. Let me show you how I do it. So one moment. Let me show you how I do it. One moment. Let me just fix this. Alright. Sorry. Do apologize. I'm just gonna edit some part of the video. Remove the dead air. Remove the unnecessary part of the video. To shorten it up. But this is important. That's the reason why I'm showing it to you guys. But let me just remove the battery first. Just remove the battery first. Put it on. Battery meter mode. Now, I will unscrew this part, or this FRP brake setup. The reason why, but I will not unscrew it fully. Okay, I will not unscrew it fully because I want the FRP to stay in its position. So I'll just unscrew one of them. I will loosen up both of them and then I'll screw one of them, and then I will add the washer one by one. So I hope you can see it. So I've added a washer. There you go. You can see it now. And then I will, so it will add an extra millimeter to the brake. So from 2 mm, it will now become at least 2.5 mm, if not 3 mm. Let's check. Just check the washer. Where did I put it? Okay. So that's the good thing about, or the advantage of this build, is because you can adjust the brake setup, especially if the brake pad is kind of brand new or kind of new. You don't need to replace it right away. So if you're lacking friction, you can just add washer into your brake FRP, front brake FRP, and then you are actually adding friction over that FRP brake setup. So even though you are not adding any brakes in your rear brake setup, once you are lowering down your brake pad in your front, or on your front FRP setup, that means that you're adding more friction, adding more brakes onto your actual mini four-wheel drive. So now we've done that already. So let's try it one more time using 1.48 volts. Earlier we overshoot. But this time let's try and check if we will be able to finish the racetrack course. But let me just adjust the camera angle again. Let's see. Let's reposition. There you go. At least you can see what is happening over there and what's happening over there, over here. At least two obstacles you will be able to see. Actually, three obstacles, including the tabletop, then table down. So let's just move this out of the screen. Checking if we are blurred out. Nope, we're good. Okay, there you go. Let's do it. Lane 2, car number 2. Okay. I think we still need to add another washer because it's still too fast. Alright, so let me just adjust the camera angle here. Let's go back. And then let's just refocus it here. There you go. And then I'll be adding another washer. It is still too fast. If you can see, it overshoot on the mountain slope. So tires is still clean. We don't need to clean it up. We are just on our second run, so we don't need to add a lubricant yet. It didn't finish any 3 laps. So we just need to put back the battery to check the battery meter. So 1.47 volts. Now let's just add another washer. So we are now at 2 washers. So if you can see, this is how I adjust when I'm practicing an actual racetrack or an actual GP races or leg races. I'm sorry, BMAX-GP races and BMAX leg races. So I always have a washer prepared on my table, so I don't need to search on my washer or screw box. So I've added one. I will not tighten it yet, so I can move the FRP freely like that. Am I blurred? Sorry. Am I talking blurred? Alright. No, we're clear. So add the second washer. So we're now at 2 washer at each side. So that's 4 washer in total. So let me just tighten this up. Lock this FRP. It shouldn't be moving. Okay. So hopefully our viewers from Indonesia, viewers from Malaysia, or any other countries aside from the Philippines are getting something out from this video. And actually, viewers from Indonesia and Malaysia and Singapore, or any other part of the country, you are now witnessing how I adjust, or how we Filipinos adjust our CFM build during an actual race. This is not an actual race, but this is actually what I'm doing when I'm on a actual race. So you're actually seeing it real time. So even though this video might take too long, I think it's still worth it. So I'm just removing any dust on my tires. So I just want to make sure that after what do you call this? I'm having a mental block. After I drop my car on the racetrack panel, it will just run smoothly, or sorry, it will have an acceleration because the tires is actually not skidding. And it has a lot of friction, so it will run using its full torque capacity, or torque power. Sorry for that, not capacity. Now, okay, again, pushing out the car, checking all the screws. For example, this one as well, the damper screws, if it's aligned, and then we're good to go. So I've just used 1.47 volts, and then I've added 2 washer on the left side and on the right side. Running on lane 2. We're running on lane 2. Here we go. It's still fast. Okay. Now the problem is when it hits, actually it's still fast, but it's already I think it landed good on the first obstacle, but when it reaches the mounting slope, I'm not pretty sure. I haven't seen if it landed on the actual wave wall, but it actually flew off after it hit the wave. So I'm not pretty sure. So maybe I'm gonna once I've dropped it, I will go to that side, to that area, and check what's happening over there. But I think the brake setup is already good. Maybe not good because we're still overshooting there. But let's see what will happen. We're still at 0-0. Let me just check it for you guys. There you go. All right, so it's working fine. Now after I drop the mini four-wheel drive, and then I'll move over there and see what's happening on the mountain slope. Alright? Lane 2, run 4 or run 5. Here we go. I'm unable to see it. Let me check. Let me see. So it's taking off like this. So I think I need to really add a brake pad here. So we've learned something from there. So adding a brake pad here will have an effect on your rear end setup, because from tilting too much, you will prevent it to tilt too much if you add a brake pad here, because the brake pad will help you reach the actual flooring of the panels or the racetrack panel, so it prevents your front the front part of your mini four-wheel drive to tilt much higher, because the brake will press on the flooring, and then it will prevent your front mini four-wheel drive to tilt much higher than it should be. So we will be adding a brake now. So let me just replacing or adding a brake setup on my rear end or my rear on my rear FRP. I will show you how I do it. Before that, my cell phone is kind of tilting on a different angle. There you go. So let me just fix that, making sure everything is intact and not moving. There you go. Probably 1 hour and 30 minutes is actually good timing, and we will be ending that on that, or maybe 2 hours, because I'll just make a good title for everyone to see and for everyone to understand why did it take 2 hours for me to shoot this video. Did I not edit, or did I just keep the necessary parts? So I'm adjusting the position of the tape. If I'm adding new brakes here, I'm just adjusting the position of the tape, making sure that I angled it the way I wanted it to be. Because on this part, I will put my rear brake pads. Why? If I put it here and it passes the slope, it will prevent the car or the front car to tilt much farther or to tilt higher. So here in the Philippines, we call this kind of landing dolphin dive. For example, this kind of landing dolphin dive, and this is a rocket ship. If after you pass a slope and your mini four drive looks like this in the air, it's a rocket ship. I called it a rocket ship because I'm a skater as well, so it's like a rocket kickflip or a rocket ollie. But if it's actually flying in the air like this is a dolphin dive. And if it's landing on the floor panel like this, it's a dolphin dive. Anyways, just an additional information. Just a terminology. That terminology, I'm the only one, I think, using it. So let me just put this brake, and just looking which part of the brake is the straightest or the straightest side, or the side that is more straight. So that's the one that I'll be using. Now, putting or adding a pink brake set here will add a lot of friction, so I might need to, where's the end of this brake, to add a tape to cover it. So just to make sure that I still have momentum when I pass over the slope. So let me just charge the batteries one more time, but this time I'll set it to 1.48 both charger, because I don't want to use a battery more than 1.48 volts. Okay, so then again, let me just put this tape. Maybe I'll put this 35% brake showing, and then 65% brake is covered by tape. Alright, something like this. So now we already have two washers over here, and then two washers over here, and then we added a brake here. So let's see what will happen. Let me just wait for the battery to reach 1.48 volts. Let me charge this one as well. So that's 1.44 volts already, and we are still overshooting. So that means there's a higher chance that this motor is actually much okay compared to the other mini four-wheel drive. So we have here 1.48 volts. 1.48 volts. And with a new brake setup, let's just clean the actual tires. And earlier I was aiming for 1 hour and 30 minutes, but I think we might need to go around 2 hours for this one. Let me just, there you go, adjust this. There you go, focus, there you go. So let me just run it. All right, let me just show you my stopwatch. 0 0. Let me just adjust. We are over brake now. Our brake setup is now preventing our car to overcome the slopes. So what adjustment will I do? But the landing of the car is now a-okay. So which means adding brake pad here actually resolves the rocket ship aerial maneuver or movement. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove the washers in front of my setup. I will still be using 1.48 volts, but I will just readjust this and remove the washer. Now if I'm watching this video, I think I'm seeing value in here. So I think I'm gonna keep all the necessary parts. I will just remove the stuttering and the unnecessary comments, unnecessary comments from me. So I'll just keep all those information that is necessary for you guys to actually tune your BMAX Mini 4-wheel drive setup. Not perfectly, because if you can see, we are on a trial and error, because there's no perfect motor gear ratio, brake pad, battery voltage combination. It always changes depending on the racetrack setup or racetrack layout. It all depends on the racetrack layout. So people who's asking me, what do you prefer on your motor, or what do you prefer on your gear ratio, there's no actual specific answer. If you see here, I'm already using 5:1 gear ratio, but I'm still overshooting, right? So I need to adjust. So if I told you use power dash 5:1 gear ratio, and the obstacle doesn't match that kind of setup, so you will still be having a hard time, and you will be struggling. So instead of teaching you or telling you what actual motor gear ratio brake setup combination is the best, I will just teach you how to tune your mini four-wheel drive. So I think that is the best way to do it. Teaching you how to tune your mini four-wheel drive, how to make it faster, how to make it run faster, how to make it run slower, how can it overcome specific obstacles. Maybe I can teach you there based on my experience, but I cannot teach you what I haven't experienced, right? So I need to experience a lot of things first before I can tell you or teach you anything, right? So now I've removed the washers. So if you can see here, we're still doing a trial and error, right? There's no perfect. I've already run this obstacle. I've already run this. I've already participated and competed on this obstacle, but I'm still gauging it. Right? Because I'm aiming to a fastest time, but I can actually gauge it, or I can actually finish it if I make my mini four-wheel drive slower than it should be. So let us try this again. A different approach, a different setup. 1.48 volts. It kind of 1756, but it has an error as well. So it's still faster compared to 1831. But if I didn't remove all the washer, if I just remove one washer on the left and on the right, I might have a perfect run with a good amount of time or lap time. So for that 1756 with an error, this has an error as well. So this is not a perfect run. It just recovered. So if it didn't have any error, it might go lower than 17, or it might go 17 low. When I say 17 low, it is 17.5 or 17.50 and below. If I say it's 17 high, so that's a code. When my teammate asks me, what's your time? I will not say the actual time because my opponent or my competitors might hear me. So I will always keep my time hidden from my competitors. But I will always tell my time to my teammates. Now, if they ask me, what is your time? It looks fast. It looks like it runs fast. So I will tell them, if we're on a crowded area, I will tell them using a cryptic code. Like for example, 15 high, 15 low. Sometimes I'm gonna lie. Sometimes I'm gonna say it's 18. Then once we're on the table, on our team table, then I'll tell it's actually this time. The time is actually this. So that's a strategy. You don't want to broadcast your lap time because they will have an idea. But this is another tip for BMAX racers. You don't need to ask your opponent's time or your competitor's time. You just need to watch them race on an actual race, and then press the stopwatch, and then press it again once the marshal catches it, or once it passes the finish line. Just a tip for you to be able to know what's their fastest time. Now we have 1756 already. It still has an error. It just recovered, and on an actual adjustment, if I don't have enough time, I'll just say to myself or tell myself this: just add a washer, keep the same battery voltage, and let's just try it on an actual race. So I'm gonna use my ticket to actually test my updated setup based on the last practice run that I have. So having said that, let's now try a different approach. Let's try to make a setup that is actually slower than these two cars, that will surely finish 3 laps. Because when you reach the quarterfinals or going quarterfinals, you want your car to be actually impounded. So once your car has been impounded, upon checking, everything passes. Now your car is on the quarterfinals already. Now on the quarterfinals, there's no re-entry, and that car, once you lose a particular race on a quarterfinals, and that's the end of it. So your car will go to your car box already. So what am I telling here, or what am I saying? What am I talking about? What I'm trying to say is, you need your car to finish 3 laps, especially when it's already impounded, because there's no adjustment can be done aside from replacing your battery and then cleaning the brake. That's all, especially on BMAX-GP. Cleaning the wiping the dust off on your tires is not allowed as well on BMAX-GP, especially on a leg race. So yeah, so your adjustment is limited once once your mini four-wheel drive is already impounded. So the best option is just let your car finish 3 laps, and let's see if your competitor or the racers that you're competing with on quarterfinals will flew off track, or will overshoot. Most of the time there will be an overshoot, and the stablest car will finish 3 laps. So that's the trend. Sometimes the fastest car also wins. So that's beyond the skill level, and you need some luck already, or you need some luck as well. All right, I've talked too much. Let's check the time. Oh my goodness, I'm talking while I'm blurred out, so it's fine. I'm just explaining something there. So let me now show you an adjustment that I will do. So if I want to make my mini four-wheel drive slower, so there's an option. You can add, or you can put a white brake pad in your front FRP brake set, or you can just keep the same brake pad but lowering down the battery voltage, probably 1.45 volts, and then adding another layer of washer. So and also aside from that, let's release the brake in your rear setup. So this time we are aiming for our mini four-wheel drive to go slower than it should be, or than its fastest time, because we want to finish the course and safely overcome, or just move past over the obstacle on a safe speed. So I will also change the tape, or adjust the tape of my front FRP setup. And later on, we will shoot a video of the actual run. So I'm going to hold the camera. So let me just use a different tape. So actually this video should be on the members only video, but I believe because it's too freaking long, no one will watch it anyway. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut every important part of this video after I upload it publicly, and then provide my channel members the actual juice of this video on the channel members only video, so they can benefit more. Because I really want to thank them for supporting me by becoming a channel member, because that helps me to continue this journey of being a ambassador of mini four-wheel drive racing here in the Philippines. And also, if I'm able to help people outside the Philippines, so that's actually a good thing to know. So it actually helped me, it motivates me as well. So I add a brakes here. I removed the tape covering the brakes at the rear brake setup. I will be adding 3. I'll be adding 3 washers, but before I run it, I will check the clearance of the setup. So I want to make sure if we are testing it and adjusting it, and it still passes the inspection. So that's important as well. Especially, you need to double check your setup, your screws. If someone loosen up, or if some screws loosen up, you need to tighten it, especially when you are already running on going quarters. Going quarters, it means if you won that race again, I do apologize if I'm redundant, but I want that information to stick in your mind. If you run a quarterfinals run or a going quarterfinals run, you need to make sure that your setup is actually going to pass the inspection, because if not, you're going to get disqualified and all your effort will be worthless. So you don't want that to happen, right? So now we are at 3 washers at each side of my front brake setup, FRP brake setup. Then I will check first before I run it. I will run it on a lower voltage, but I will check first using a clearance checker. Using a clearance checker, if I'm still, or actually I'm still more than 1 mm, and I can still go 4 washers, because I believe I'm 2.5 mm on the clearance. But let's try it first. Let's check the battery voltage. If it's lower than 1.48 volts, it already run 3 laps, so I am guessing it is 1.40 volts, 1.44. Yes, it is 1.44. I'm sorry, 1.44 volts. Let me show you, just for you to make sure I'm saying the correct information. So this is actually 1.45. So I'm using the middle. So 1.44, 1.45. So yeah. So I want to be transparent to my followers, so that's the reason why I'm showing everything to you. If I can't show everything, it means I can't manage to show everything, because I'm only using one phone. I don't have any teammates yet. So I will not clean my actually I need to clean it. At least on the acceleration I need to gain speed, right? Because I already provided brakes. So on the critical part of the obstacle, so I need to clean my I will be cleaning my brakes as well, just to make sure that it will stick on the obstacles, preventing me to flew off track on the actual on every incline part of the racetrack. So yeah, 1.44 volts. Let me just put it down here. Let me just, if this actually finished in a safer manner, so probably we can end the video right here, right now, after this run, because I've already shown you the adjustment that I'm doing every time I raced, and actually I've shown you 2 different types of brake set here. I explained earlier that you can also put a white brake pad here, still pink brake pad on the rear end, but it's up to you. There's a lot of adjustment using brake pads. So you just need to know the characteristic, and you just need to be familiarized on the correct characteristic of every brake pads. But let's go and try and test this. We cannot go down using gear ratio because we're at the lowest gear ratio. It's 5:1 gear ratio. We can only slow down using brake, and also lowering down the battery voltage. But let's just check. It is still fast. 18.69, but I didn't finish 3 laps, because when I catches the mini 4-wheel drive, when it passes the finish line, it's actually the 4 wheels is not actually on the floor of the racetrack. It's tilted, so it didn't count. So it didn't slow down. So I need to add more washer. I will try to add 2 more washer. If I didn't
if I'm not able to slow down my mini four-wheel drive, then I need to put white brakes, white brake pad. But can you identify, or can you understand what I'm trying to do here? I'm checking the capacity of the blue brake pads. So slowing it down, just adding washer, and lowering down the clearance of the front FRP brake set. So now we can still go down. I can still add washer and try to check, and using a lower battery voltage. I will not replace the battery of this mini four drive. I will just check the battery voltage. So we could know what battery voltage we've used when we are able to finish 3 laps, if we are going to finish 3 laps. So let me just add 2 more washer. So now we're at 5 washers. The downside of this is your screw is not actually thread thoroughly on the chassis. But yeah, it's still manageable. And this is just for testing purposes as well. If that's the case, you need to replace the 8mm screw with a 15mm screw if you're adding 5 washers already. I mean a countersunk screw, because I'm using 8mm screw, countersunk screw here on my FRP brake set. Now, before I run this, I will check the battery voltage. I will check the clearance if I'm still good. The minimum clearance that is allowed is 1 mm, and this actual clearance checker is 1 mm. I thought I am. Okay. Now we are at more than 1 mm because we are still good. So I think this is 1.5 mm. So we are not disqualified yet. Now let's check the battery voltage. Let's check the battery voltage. 1.43. I'm guessing that it will still run fast, but actually it's actually good on acceleration. If it's accelerating fast on a straight or curved obstacle, that's actually still good. But what we want is to actually slow down on the actual slope, on any actual incline. So I'm sorry that this video take longer than I expected it to be. So that means I wasn't prepared, and I just need to create this video because I'm going to remove the racetrack already. We don't have any more time to test it. So anyways, here we go. Let's see. Oh, there you go. It stumbled. 1984, but it flipped over. 1984, but it flipped over. And I don't want that kind of run. I don't want that kind of run. The reason why, I'm already slowing down on the bank approach. However, every time I passes the mountain slope, I'm still jumping over too high. I need to crawl that. So I've already reached the clearance, the minimum clearance. I'm just that close at 2 strands of a hair, and then I will get disqualified.
So this kind of setup is not the one that I wanted. Now, I'll be having a problem here. The reason why is because I need to replace the brake set. I need to replace the brake set. It will eat a lot of time. Okay. Anyways, we're here already, so might as well do it. Oh my goodness. Almost drop again. So I might as well do it. I will do it. Anyways, if you've reached this part of the video, you're still watching, and you have a lot of patience because you're watching me doing nothing. And battery meter. There you go. So, what do I mean? Replacing the battery. Oh, sorry. What do I mean replacing the brake? So I will now use a white brake set. If only I have another FRP, so I don't need to remove this. But I don't have FRP already. I need to open my brand new FRP front mount plate, FRP mount plate, but I don't want to do it. Excuse me. Okay. First off, let's remove the front brake setup. Oh, sorry, not the front brake setup, the washers. On this video, you will be able to identify what's the difference between blue brake FRP or blue brake. Oh my goodness, blue brake pad compared to the white brake pad. Luckily, the screw didn't drop off from the FRP. Oh my goodness. I'm messing up big time. Okay. I need to turn it back. Need to attach it back. To save time, I'll pause this. I'll pause this for a moment. Just bear with me. Okay, resume. So I just put this back. Now, am I going to remove it? Yeah, I don't have a choice. The only problem here is we will having a race on Saturday, and I might change the setup. If that's the case, if that's the case, then there's a lot of work for me to do. Anyways, it's fine. As long as this video is being productive and helping a lot of people, or not a lot of people, a lot of newbie and returning racers. I always save my brake setup so I can just put it back. Especially if it's just brand new. Okay, so you're actually witnessing how I create a front or make a front FRP brake setup. So this is how I do it. I always put tape first. I will not attach or stick my brake pad if there's no tape on the FRP, because I don't want to waste time removing the residue of the brake pad or the double-sided tape of the brake pad. So I rather peel off the Tamiya tape rather than peel off the residue of the double-sided tape of the Tamiya the brake pad. I'm I hope I'm making sense over there. I will be making a tutorial of setting up a brake set, front and rear. But on this one, I'll just show you. Because this white brake pad is easily getting peeled off whenever you grind it. So I didn't cut the excess part of the brake pad yet. So here we go. Usually I will cut this part and align it on the chassis, but I will try to grind it first and make an angle out of it. So hopefully you can see it. You need to angle this perfectly. On your DIY grinder, especially when if it's a grinder for your brake pad, you should use a stock motor only, just to make sure that you are not over grinding anything. You should grind it slowly, so you can just retain the angle that you want. If you overdo it, you need to replace the actual brake, so you don't want to do that, right? It will eat a lot of your time, especially if you're in a hurry and if you're already cramming. In this case, just consider slow is fast. Slow is fast. Always think of slow is fast. It's okay to be grinding slow as long as you're not overdoing it and you don't need to replace it or replace the whole brake pad and do it all over again. Now I'm getting comfortable on speaking in English, so I'm getting used to it again. Maybe someday the videos will be running smoothly while me talking in English. There will be a part of this video, of this grinding video, that I'll be using my sandpaper to make sure that the brake is actually aligned. And actually I'm going to do it now. I'm just blowing away the dust or the residue of the brake pad after grinding it. So everything for me is manual, so I'm eyeballing it manually. So there's a release from some racers that an actual automatic angle adjuster or brake pad cutter. If you can get a hang of it or get a hold of it, that will save you time, and that is much easier. Because what I'm doing now is actually it needs some skills, or at least you should be used to doing this already. If not, you might have some error in the beginning when you're trying it in the first time, for the first time. But if you get used to it already, this will be a piece of cake for you. So I'm just eyeballing, removing anything that I don't need, unnecessary part of the brake pad. And I want to make sure that the angle that I want, I made, or I make. Because we're already eating up a lot of time, so might as well make it worthy of watching. So again, I do apologize if I'm speaking too much. I just need to kill the dead air, so it will not be so boring. It's already boring, isn't it? I don't want to make it more boring for you guys. Anyways, I don't know how to do time lapse yet on CapCut. So once I learn it, probably this part of the video will be adjusted and edited. But for the meantime, just bear with me. Okay, I think I got it. Alright. I only perfected the middle part because again, I will cut uh, this side of it, of the brake. So I won't be needing it. So I just need to make sure that the front, or at least this part, the middle part, is intact. So this is what I'm talking about. So you can see on the screen. I will cut this part. Again, like what I've said earlier, I always do symmetric. So I'll always make sure that everything is aligned or leveled. So you can see the big chunk that I cut, right? It's actually a big chunk. Am I still recording? Oh yeah, oh, there you go. I cut it. Then I will cut the other side as well. So that's the reason why I didn't bother if the side of this brake pad, both sides are not perfected. As long as the middle part is actually good, looking good, and that's good with me as well. There you go. Now I will add up a tape in the front part of the brake to protect it, making sure that it will not peel off when it touches any obstacle or any part of the slope. But I will just tape at least a tiny part of the brake, just to make sure it will not get peeled off when it runs. Something like this. Yes, I'll show it to you guys. The problem here is we're not sure if it's going to run on the on the bank, but hopefully it will just pass the slope or crawl the slope. All right, so there you go. So it was angled already, you can see, right? I just angled it enough, and hopefully it can reduce my speed if it passes the slope. We will try to use 1.41 volts of battery voltage here, just to make sure we will have the exact expectation that we want, or that the run that we are aiming for. All right, so let me go back here. Hopefully if this finished and if it goes according to plan, then I will show you. All right. So here you go. Again, pink brake at the back, and then white brake pad on the front, and then we will run on the middle lane. 1.41 volts. Here we go. Okay, I think I need to add more washer. It is still fast and I need to crawl down. I need to add washer. I will be adding 1.5 of washer. I won't be replacing the battery. I'll be adding 1.5 washer. It is kind of slowed down. It slowed down a bit compared to the blue. Brake pad. I think we're going more than 2 hours. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, guys. I'm so sorry. I didn't expect it. I didn't expected it to be this hard. And there's no excuses. I should prepare, but I didn't. I didn't test it. I mean, we're just testing it now, real time. I'm just testing it now, real time. So actually, it's a double-edged sword. You're actually witnessing the honest and raw video that I put on public without any actual. Actually, I don't want to edit it anymore because editing eats a lot of time as well. So if it's cringy, I let it be cringy. It's up to you guys. If you want to watch and squeeze the juice out of this video, it's up to you. If you don't want this video, just don't watch. If you don't want to watch this video, just don't watch it. That's how easy it is. You don't need to complicate things. If it's too cringy, just leave it that way. Don't watch it. Let's just check the battery voltage. But I want this car, or maybe we couldn't. 1.40 volts. Maybe we could, maybe we couldn't. In Tagalog terms, we called it gapang or crawl. Gapang or crawl. I want, in Tagalog, gagapangin ko yan. I will crawl that part or obstacle. However, I think it's not possible, but let's try it. So 1.5 washer, pink brakes, white brakes in front, pink at the rear. Let's do it once again. Let me just remove this chair. See, still we need to get the time, but this is a slow run, so it doesn't matter, I think, as long as we finish 3 laps. Let me check. Hopefully, thank you. I think one more washer will do. I think, but I'm getting the run that I was expecting. I'm getting it. I'm almost there. I just need to add more washer, I believe. Adding one more washer. So we are now 2.5 washer. 2.5 on the left and 2.5 on the right. But I think we're almost there. And the battery voltage is still going down. So earlier we were 1.40, but I think we're running at 1.39 now. But before we run it, I'll double check. But I will spray a lubricant on the motor again because I don't want to stress out the motor that much. So I need to make it well lubricated because it runs so many times already. So we don't want to stress out the motor, right? It might overheat. Although power dash, there's a few instances or incident that power dash overheated. Most of the time, hyper dash 3 is the one that is overheating. So we are now at 2.5. My nose is getting itchy. And let me check the battery. Am I blurred? No, that's good. Not blurred out. Check the battery voltage. 1.39, yeah. 1.39. 1.39 volts. Stopwatch still running. Forgot to close it. Alright. Let's remove this. Alright, we're more than 1 hour 55 minutes. Still not good. Alright. Double check. Here we go. We're getting it. It is now crawling the slope. Now, I'm pretty sure it's already crawling the slope. I'm gonna clean the tires first. We're getting there. I think we're getting there. If I did this type of setup during the NTRC leg 8, I might be able to get to the quarterfinals and also to the semifinals. Because to be honest with you, all the cars really flew off track aiming for the high speed setup on the quarterfinals, and then they just wasted their run. Because racing BMAX, it's not all about speed. It's the right combination of everything. So the battery voltage 1.37. I think this is going to work. I just need to spray. This will actually help gain speed a bit. But I've wiped the brake pad with alcohol and water. So let me just dry it up. I'm satisfied on the slope after the back, so I'm gonna observe what's happening on the mountain slope. Okay, so here we go. Let's do this. So now that's the problem. It is still gaining momentum. But I'm still passing the bank approach. So, maybe, if I added another washer in the front, I think that's the solution. So, 3.5 washer. Because I'm still too fast. After the mountain slope, I can already recover it. I can only safely pass that. However, it's gaining speed on the two straights over there. Two straights. And then it's gaining momentum. And then it's overshooting on the wave here before the finish line. I need to crawl that as well. For me to be able to finish 3 laps. The first camelback, there's no problem anymore. So it's a piece of cake already. However, and also the mountain slope, the bank is no problem. Tabletop will not be a problem as well, because we're already slowing down on slopes. So the only thing that I need to solve from this puzzle is the last obstacle before the starting lane. So I think running with this battery voltage, I think this is the solution. I can honestly say this is the solution. There's a higher chance that we finish 3 laps already. But then again, the battery voltage is actually 1.30, still 1.37. Still 1.37. Again, 3.5 washer. Let me just show you. The washer is over here. That's 3.5. 3 large washer and 1 small washer for both sides. For both sides. The white brakes, 1.37 volts, 5:1 gear ratio. Here we go. Didn't go up. Didn't go up. That's another problem. So it didn't go up. It didn't go up. So the brake is too much. The brake is too much already. So what adjustment will I do? To be honest with you guys, I think this is me being honest. I think you are gaining a lot of information here. So if you didn't reach this part of the video, you're missing something. I know this is a long form video, but I think this is a productive video. I'm pretty sure this is a productive video because me myself is learning here right now. So if I'm learning something from this video or from what I'm doing right now, I'm pretty sure if you're just going to focus on this video without any your attention is not divided by anything, I think you're getting something from this video. Now I removed the small washer, so from 3.5 washer we are now at 3 washers. We are now at 3 washers. No, on that last run, my problem is the bank. I didn't climb the bank. I didn't climb it. I didn't climb the bank. I got stuck on the actual bank approach. Literally stuck over there. So, do I need... No. Let us use another... the same battery. Let's just check the battery voltage. Still 137. Still dropping down. Let's check the battery right here. We're over 2 hours. We're over 2 hours. It's fine. It's for the viewers that could actually gain some patience for this video and actually watch it. 1.37 volts, 3 washer left side and right side. Let's use no. Now this is how it's overshooting here. So once it landed here, the mini four drive will stop over and flip over. Let's try a different lane. Let me try a different lane. Let me try lane 2. Let me try lane 3. Let me try lane 3. actually hard. It's hard to crawl it. I have an idea. I have an idea. Just hear me out. I need to gain more brakes, but I wanted to actually overcome or to pass over the back approach. This is not an actual weird idea, but it's an actual idea. This is the last attempt. If we are unable to actually finish this obstacle with this attempt, I'm gonna cover the full brakes of the rear part of the motor. Oh, sorry. The rear brake setup. I'll fully cover it. Let me fully cover this. This is not actually a weird idea. It actually does make sense as well to me. Let me check the battery. 135 volts. I think I'm not going to use that. 135 volts. I will try 1.45 volts. But here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to add another washer in the front. So 4 washer in the front. I remove the. I lessen the weak. I'm sorry. I've lessened the friction on the rear brake set, because I killed the friction over there, because I tape it all the way. I taped everything. 0 friction from the brakes. So the only thing that will cause friction is actually the tape. Let's see if that will solve the problem of this particular racetrack. If this won't solve the issue, probably you need to overcome it with a high speed, at least 18 seconds. 18 seconds and 18 seconds, 18 high. Oh, sorry, 18 low. So 18 seconds and 18.50 seconds below. Alright. So 4 washers, 1.45 volts. This is really giving me a headache, but that is fine. As long as you're learning or getting something from this video, this is actually good for me. So there's no tape, there's no brakes here, all covered with tape, and then we have a white brakes with 4 washers. Yeah, there you go, 4 washers over there, and on the other side as well. Okay, it's blurred. Okay, let's see. Let's run on game 3 again. Go up. It is still fast. Maybe because of the battery. Let's try to use the 1.35 volts. The problem is, if we use 1.35 volts, it might not go up the bank. Really, it is really a pain in the ass. Really. Okay, 1.35 volts. Here we go. Let's test it. Tagalog, in Tagalog words, in Tagalog term, hindi kayang gapangin. The obstacle is contradicting with each other. You kill the speed of the slope. You can do that after the back. Actually, on this kind of setup, using 1.35 volts, it managed to go up the bank, but on the first lap, it barely climbed it. It barely successfully climbed. It almost didn't pass it. However, every time it passes here, because of the two straights acceleration panel, it always stumbles on the wave. So it is really hard. The best way to probably overcome this obstacle is at least 19 seconds using this kind of setup. 18 to 19 seconds. Now, earlier we are able to finish 18.31 using this setup. So let's try it again. The motor is already rested. Let me just spray some power oil. Am I clear? And there you go. Clear. And then let me use 1.48 volts. And let's see if I'm going to be able to finish. This is our last few runs. Probably if it does finish, then I will show you the actual run using the cell phone. But let me remove this. And the feedback, this doesn't work. This doesn't work. And this kind of setup is the one that actually worked earlier, using two cars. Both of them finished. One 18.31 and 1.1756 or 59. But let's try this. Ready, go. Overshoot. So let's try it one more time. It overshoot on the second lap. So let's try it one more time. We need to change the battery. Overshoot. Then when we rerun it, did it finish? So let's get another battery. Let's replace the battery. The battery that we are using is 1.44. Let's replace it with 1.48. Okay. Am I clear? Let's do it. Let's do it. Stumbling on the second lap. battery? It's really giving us a hard time. So actually, this is kind of good because you are actually seeing or witnessing what is happening during practice run, or sometimes, especially when it's already an actual race. So the stress level, you need to learn, you need to know a lot of things, a lot of way to adjust, because if your tuning skills are limited, you will just have a hard time and you will not be able to finish this. So let's try it. 1.48 volts. Come on, come on. It almost is a good run. If it finishes, it's going to be 18 seconds. Come on, lane 2. You're giving me a hard time. Okay, I will not replace the battery. I will not replace the battery. And I will let you see what I'm actually seeing. I hope I won't be able to drop this. So this is the last attempt. We've covered a lot of things here. So this is my last attempt. I believe all the information that I've mentioned earlier will be helpful for you guys. And I just want to show you the actual run. I don't know. Let's try to rehearse. So if I run here, I need to go here. And then, there you go. So you'll be able to see this. And then, alright, so this is the rehearsal. Okay, so I know how to follow it. Alright, here we go. Alright, there you go, it's hard. Second lap. It didn't finish. It didn't finish. And it actually stumbled. No, let's replace the battery. Let's replace the battery. So I have here 1.47. And what is the perfect camera angle that we can see everything? It's actually hard. It's actually hard to follow. Let me just wipe the tires clean. Sorry. I just need to show you that. I really need to show you that. I really need to. For me to be honest with you guys, I need to show you that. Let me just check how can I do it. So I'm gonna get 1.47 volts. Here you go. I'm gonna get this actual batteries. And that's the battery that we are going to use. Okay, but let me just figure out on what angle can we actually go and put the camera on. So let's figure it out. Let me just wipe this, clean this, double check the bumper, everything's good. So let's do it again. Let's see a angle where can we actually cover everything, follow everything. I see. Oh no, Okay. So, all right. So this is the motion. That is the motion. So let's turn it on. Go. Lane 1. Let's try lane 1. Ah, it stumbled there. Stumbled here. Let's try it again. Lane 1. So lane 1, there's no momentum. Ah, I see, because there's no momentum. Now let's try lane 3. Lane 3, go. Ah, it stumbled again. It stumbled again. I'm getting frustrated, guys. I'm getting frustrated. Do I need to be honest? Do I need to upload this? Do I need to upload this and be honest? Of course, I will. What's the whole point of having a YouTube channel that is dishonest, right? I need to show you where I am failing. Yes, it's frustrating. Yes, it's frustrating. I'm gonna admit that. But let me just use this kind of battery. This battery. 1.47. And I'm holding the camera. I don't know how I'm overshooting, or why am I flying off track. But I think because I'm hitting the wall of the wave. So another adjustment. Alright, so another adjustment that I'm going to do. First off, check the damper setup. It is still straight. Okay, now if you're hitting the wave on that obstacle, alright, I'll be honest. Anyways, this is a long form video. No one's gonna watch this anyways. So the reason why I'm flipping over here, or once I pass this, is because I'm hitting the wall, and then it's flipping the car. So I need to gain more speed on the slope. So here's another technique. All right, let me just gather my balance. All right, but you cannot do that anymore once your car is already impounded. And I'm still having a hard time catching this up. I know. So focus here. Drop. Focus here. Focus there. Focus here. Okay, this is much better angle. Alright, let's do this. Lane 2. Lane 2, let's try it. On lane 2. Here we go. There you go. There you go. There you go. There you go. Is it going to finish? Is it going to finish without time? Without time? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? I'm running out of hope. I'm losing hope when it finishes. I'm about to cry. I think we're done. It's all good. I think that run at least 17 or 18. Maybe 18 seconds. A worst case scenario, it will be running 19 seconds. But you've seen that, right? On the first two attempts, right? On the first two attempts, it's always stumbling. It always flipping over, right? But after I put some dust on the brake set, then it was able to finish. So, conclusion. Oh my goodness. Oh my gulay. Gulay is actually vegetable. Please bear with me. Camera. We're almost done. Please let me finish in a good end. I almost give. I'm too close on giving up already. That last run, if it didn't finish, I will end that video. But I'm contemplating if I'm going to be honest and upload this video. I'm not going to edit anything. If there's a lot of grammar lapses, so be it. But I think I'm getting better on speaking in English. So everything is getting back to me now. It's been a while since I last spoke in English for a very long time. When I resigned from a BPO position, taking in calls, that was 2019. So it's been a long time. So I believe I'm shaking the dust or the rusty side of it. I'm not too comfortable, but I'm getting comfortable already. But anyways, it's not about me speaking in English. It's about the setup. Brake setup. We've tried to crawl the slopes. It didn't work out because the racetrack layout is contradicting. All you need to do is actually shoot the mini four-wheel drive just passing by the wave, not over speeding, but just the exact amount of speed to just overpass the wave. That's the only obstacle that you need to actually work on. If you pass all of the wave, and then you're good to go. The mountain slope, you don't need to pass that. You only need to land on the first. Let me show you. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Because it's already too long. So this obstacle is, there's no chance that you'll be overshooting there, because if you overshoot there, before you overshoot there, you'll be overshooting here, like what I've said. It means that you're actually jumping over those two obstacles or those two panels and just landing over there. If you land over there, there's no way you'll be landing on the curve. You'll be landing over the curve. So that means that this is never a problem. This is the first problem after the starting lane, this wave. So all you have to do is land over, at least over here, here, or here, but not there, because you're going to overshoot over there. You'll be landing on that box. But if you have a much higher friction on your brakes, you might land here, so your car will flip over. So once you are landing here, so that you're good. Now the second obstacle is here. Change lanes is not a problem. Now you're gaining speed, so you cannot kill your momentum even though there's two slopes. Even though you have a brake. I've tried it with the white brake. It can only kill momentum up until on that blue part. So, and I'm already crawling it using the white brakes. I'm already crawling this. I'm jumping too high over there, and then I'm jumping on the wave. So the white brakes didn't work. And there's a time that I cannot move past the bank using the white brakes. So the only way to do this is perfectly shoot your car here, and then shoot your car on that blue straight, not overshooting on the wave, because your car will flip over as well if it hits the wall. And then because of these two straights, you cannot crawl this camelback. So because of these two straights, you will be easily passing by the wave, as long as you're actually shooting your car on the exact position there. So that's how we are able to finish the 3 laps. So not overshooting, but just at the right amount of speed, the right amount of brakes, the right amount of speed. The problem is, can you maintain it? So that's the only problem. Can you maintain it during your actual quarterfinals run, semifinals run, or finals run? So in my conclusion on this testing and experiment, this is a secret actually. Not a lot of racers already knew about this. Using white brakes can help you crawl a slope, even though you don't have any brake pad in your rear's brake setup. So that's one. Second, if the obstacle is really hard, you need to practice. You need to go early on an actual race, because you need a lot of time to actually tune your car on that specific racetrack layout. And even after you've tuned it already, it doesn't mean that it will always finish 3 laps. There will always be something that might happen that will cause your mini four drive to stumble, to flip over, or to flew off track. Okay, so we managed to finish 3 laps. During the actual MTRC Leg 8 race, I managed to finish 3 laps as well. But unfortunately, I'm also focusing on my Pro Stock Mini 4 drive during that time, so my attention is divided. That's the reason why I tried to overcome the obstacle again, but it's coming back to me now that the right setup is this. This is actually the setup that I've used as well, or the brake setup that I've used as well. So it managed to finish 3 laps, so we're good on that. I do apologize for this long form video, but I think it will help you out. If you just have a time to finish it or rewatch it, it's up to you. And I will cherry pick every part of the video that has high quality of information, and then I'll put that on the members only video for my channel members who are supporting me financially. So I think that's it for me. The battery voltage, just recall it. I've used the last round I've used 1.47 volts, 5:1 gear ratio, power dash motor, and the actual brake setup that I've shown you guys. I'm JBSP. I post a lot of Tamiya Mini 4 drive contents and tutorials. Please follow me. Bye for now. Ciao.